This wildcard draft is going to offer you something slightly different, but a team that is incredibly well balanced, covers a lot of teams, and can offer you maximum points. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm the FPL chairman, and we're going to be going through my Game Week 6 wildcard draft. Now, I'm not necessarily going to be wildcarding myself, but this is a team that I believe would be an incredibly strong team should you wish to activate your wildcard coming off the back of of quite a disappointing Game Week 5. So going straight into the video, we're going to be starting off with the goalkeepers. This is a position where, for me, it's about saving money. It's about saving money and investing it further up the pitch. Goalkeepers have been incredibly hit and miss this season, and I think going with budget options is the way to go. For me, Leno, Flecken, players around that price point, it's really up to you. However, I think based in terms of performance and also spreading the risk in terms of having multiple teams in your wildcard draft, I think Leno is a safe option. Areola for West Ham gives you someone that if Leno, for example, gets injured, he can come on. He is a starter for West Ham. He can also get points. We've seen him accumulate numerous points through saves. So I think save the money. These are very safe options, and that's how I would go for my goalkeepers. Looking into the defence, Newcastle assets I've said in previous videos. If you like videos, guys, check out the previous videos I've done. Do a lot of tier lists in terms of the game weeks ahead and how best you can get points. Newcastle defenders are the way to go for me in terms of minutes. Yes, they will have European fixtures. However, in comparison to their attackers, I think Newcastle defenders are much more nailed on in terms of minutes. You can go for Shah and a Botman double up, but in this instance, I've gone for Trippier. I think Trippier has great attacking threat, operates in that final third very high. He's on set pieces. Yes, he is more expensive than a lot of the other defenders, but I think he's worth it in terms of the investment. Botman for 4.5 million. Is he going to get attacking returns? No. Very unlikely. However, I think for the price that you're getting and how solid I think Newcastle can be in their upcoming fixtures, I think he's the right player to have to allow you ultimately to invest further at the pitch as well. Matty Cash, we've seen he looks really, really good in terms of his attack. Obviously in Game Week 5 coming off a big chance and some shots on goal as well. So operates really high up, is a great fullback and a great defender to have, especially under the 5 million price point. Aston Villa's fixtures are also looking really strong going forward. Estupinan for Brighton, obviously he didn't start in Game Week 5 after international rotation. However, he is the most attacking fullback in FPL, and still for 5.3 million, he's a great asset. So I wouldn't be put off by Game Week 5's minutes. He's still a great option. Brighton do have some tricky fixtures. Obviously, you can see Villa away, Liverpool at home. However, owning the most attacking fullback in your FPL teams, I think, is essential. Kabore for Luton is, to be honest, bench fodder. You can capture the Game Week 7 double game week if you want to, but it's just for a 4 million bench option. But you have 4 playing defenders, and I would start with 4 defenders, which you don't see typically a lot. A lot of FPL managers going for a 3-5-2, but in my wildcard draft, I would be looking at a 4-5-1. Moving into the midfield, you have Salah. Liverpool's fixtures are easily some of the best upcoming, and we've seen Salah return in every single game week, being unlucky in Game Week 5 not to get 3 assists. So I think if you are someone who is wildcarding, you need to have Salah in your team. It's just, there's so much points that they can potentially get in their fixtures. Tough Tottenham and then Brighton away trip. However, after that, which I believe is Game Week 9, he really comes into his own and the fixtures really open up. So this is a wildcard draft with Salah, and obviously this is the reason why we are taking some more budget options in, for example, in goal and in defence, to be able to enable us to have this team, as this team only has 0.1 million in the bank left. And Bemu, one of the best players in FPL at the moment for his price tag, one of the highest scoring players for Brentford on penalties. I think he is essential in your team. He has really predicted high point scoring. If you look at Everton at home, Forest away, even Man United away, predicted to score points there, and I think he can really turn it on in any single game. So I think Mbemu is essential to having your team as that budget option. Saka, I also think, is an essential player, focal point for Arsenal's attack. Got an assist in Game Week 5. I think there are more points to come from Saka. So in terms of also being an essential player, I think he is. 8.7 million for Arsenal's main goal threat, I think, is still great value. Maddison at 7.9 million. Obviously, Arsenal and Liverpool in the upcoming game weeks are very difficult fixtures. However, again, similar in terms of Mbemu, for his price, which obviously has got a lot higher from when he started at 7.5 million. I think being on set pieces, being sort of the creative link to Richarlison and Son in Spurs attack, and for the price he is, I think he's someone that you should definitely be considering for your wildcard. Bowen is an interesting pick. I think a lot of people may be raising eyebrows at this given West Ham's fixtures aren't the best. However, I talk about spreading the risk in terms of having multiple teams in your wildcard, and I think having a West Ham asset, especially Bowen, who is a guaranteed nailed-on starter, is one of their most attacking threats in terms of the midfield, sitting behind Antonio. I think he's a great player, and he is obviously quite high scoring so far in the last 5 game weeks of this FPL season. So I think it's something different. You could go for Diaby in terms of Villa and save a bit more money, as Villa's fixtures are really strong. However, I think for his ability, spreading the risk in terms of multiple teams, he is definitely the way to go. Moving on into the forwards, so now this is where you can clearly see that this is a formation that would hone around 4-5-1, with Erling Haaland as no surprise there in terms of having that, and then 2 4.5 million strikers. 4-5-1, I just think in terms of forwards, except for Julian Alvarez, who I do think he'll retain his minutes. However, obviously City will come into some European fixtures where that may become a risk. You may see Pep Roulette, rotation. I think going with one striker, because there isn't that many other good forwards so far. Obviously a few forwards are popping up with goals here and there, like Callum Wilson, Darwin Núñez in a couple of fixtures, Watkins getting assists. I think the money that you need to save to be able to fund Salah, a 4-5-1 formation focusing on cheap defensive options is the way to go, rather than going for any forwards that are above 7 million, for example. So Erling Haaland, don't really need to go into too much detail, he's essential. Archer obviously is Sheffield United's new signing, an attacker, and Semedo is really just bench fodder. So something slightly different, guys, in terms of wildcard drafts that you may have seen from other FPL content creators. I've tried to provide something different here to give sort of different options and different opinions compared to what you might have seen in terms of just 3-5-2. But I think this is a really, really good wildcard draft. Definitely spreading the risk in terms of multiple teams it being in the team, focusing on that midfield with decent, cheap budget options in the defence. I think it's great. But obviously, guys, you may think different. And if you do, please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video and you think this is a decent wildcard draft, please drop a like and subscribe for more content. Plenty more content coming out ahead of game week 6 and game weeks ahead. If you enjoy this video, check out my other videos going into game week 6, the must-buy players tier list and the players to avoid tier list. Good luck for game week 6, guys.